All right, boys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about what I think might be happening in the market because it seems as though nothing's happening and everything is going sideways, but a little bit more than what you see on the surface is actually going down. So I want to just go over it real quick. Today's Easter, so happy Easter to you and your family. May the Lord bless you all. It's going to be a fast video because it's Easter, but I want to go over this real quick. Before we begin, I am in a baby short position right now, up 1,700 bucks, nothing bad, but I encourage you all to follow me on Twitter because I did post this short yesterday. And I posted it for free, okay? So the link for my Twitter's in the description down below, so make sure you go give me a follow. All right, let's talk about what I think might be happening, okay? Bitcoin is just going sideways. In the last video that I made, I talked about how I'm looking for a short down to take out these ugly lows, okay? Which was what my tweet was essentially, okay? We have a lot of ugly lows. We have a lot of liquidity building up below this local range. I'm only talking about the local range. I don't care about anything outside of that. And really nothing has changed, you know? Why does price move? You need to always remember why price moves. It moves for three reasons: to generate liquidity, to attack liquidity, and to rebalance an imbalance. And what do ranges do? They effectively generate liquidity and then attack it. So we are in a high time frame POI. We are forming what appears to be a distribution right now, and my target is at the very minimum 82.7. Just like I mentioned in my last video a few days ago, it's taken a lot longer. They decided to generate more liquidity to the upside first, attack buy side, and then now they're making their move down to attack sell side, okay? Are they going to make it all the way down there? I don't know, but today I want to talk about not just Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going sideways, but the market as a whole is looking kind of interesting, right? So my conviction as of late is that the altcoins look not bad, okay? The altcoins are really not looking too bad at the moment, minus this move now to the downside, but in general, for the mid to like, not long term, but mid term, I'm thinking that it's time for alts to have somewhat of a relief rally, okay? We've been pretty much down only. I've talked about it on Twitter being down only. Ooh, we have a long on Suey here. I've talked about it, you know, how even me, the perma bear, am looking for some form of relief on the altcoins. Some of them have started to move like Solana, so my spot bags are happy. But, you know, across the board, I do think that an alt season not an alt season. I don't want to say alt season, okay? People associate alt season with cycles, and I believe that the cycle's broken, so I'm not going to call it an alt season, but I do think that the market is due for some relief, okay? Despite me saying that Max Payne is sideways, which I do believe, I do think that down for the altcoins is not as likely, whereas Bitcoin may continue sideways, okay? So understanding that, we're going to have the correlation now between USDT dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Let's start on Bitcoin dominance, okay? For those who don't know what Bitcoin dominance is, it is just a metric that will gauge essentially how much of the crypto capital remains in Bitcoin. When dominance falls, altcoins will typically pump, okay? Right now on Bitcoin dominance, you can see that we have a high at 6.43%, and this will be our high for the year and for the cycle. Not that the cycle is not broken, but this will be the high for the cycle. And I have absolutely zero doubt in my mind that we will be touching this line again, okay? So we have to keep our eye on 64.32. Why is that important? 64.32 is important because in the event that dominance is going to roll over, it makes sense to roll over from here. And in order for us to actually have a proper distribution, you need to take out the first high again, okay? So we're in a high time frame POI. We've had this on the chart for months, okay? Months. And now you're coming this close up. I know it's not technically liquidity, but we will still consider it liquidity. We're going to chart it the same, even though we're not necessarily trading Bitcoin dominance directly. As you can see by my drawing, I am suspecting us to get some form of pullback after SFPing this high, which would essentially give strength to the altcoins, okay? This would give altcoins room to breathe, and the show will not just be Bitcoin necessarily. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen, but I'm watching for it to happen, okay? Now, if you pair this idea with what's been going on with USDT dominance, we can have a good understanding as to what's happening in the market, okay? A few weeks, not a few weeks, a few days back, in the Nexus, we identified that for the first time in quite some time, USDT dominance is displaying some weakness. Now, we've been going sideways across basically the entire market for the last few days, the last 10 days or so, but we are identifying the potential of this showing weakness for the very first time as per this flip zone. So for me, the most important levels that I'm watching on USDT dominance are, of course, if you're trading it per se, it'll be trading the range. So taking the high of the range, taking the low of the range. However, I do think that Bitcoin dominance may make its way up to like 5.75, 5.89-ish, maybe 6%. Either this zone, or SFPing this high once again, okay? Until we get down to here. Then when we get down to here, we'll have to reassess and rediscuss and whatever the case is, okay? For those who don't know, USDT dominance is an inverse relation to the market. So while this pumps, the market will dump. While this dumps, the market will pump, okay? Why is this information important? It's important because what I think is going to happen is Bitcoin, as I mentioned in my last video, Bitcoin is going to make a run for this liquidity at the very minimum. In my opinion, in order for price to come up and sweep these highs, which we are overall targeting in the midterm, they need to remember, why does price move? Price moves to attack liquidity, generate liquidity, and to rebalance and imbalance. Well, they can't send price higher if they don't have liquidity. So what do? They consolidate. They generate all the liquidity to the downside, right? They generate sell side. Then they come down. They have you get stopped out because all your stop losses are here. They fill their long orders against your short sells, your market sells, because you are getting stopped out. And then they send it up higher, okay? In order for price to go up, it has to go down first. That's the way that the market moves. So if Bitcoin is going to fall and attack this liquidity and come to 62.7, which I do think is a lot more probable than not, especially the way that price has been developing, then my suspicion is that alts are going to bleed one last time. And you can already see it, okay? I know I'm making this video today, but I did have this conviction, and shout out to the Nexus because the Nexus knew about this from a long time ago. But, you know, the alts are bleeding a little bit more, and it's because simply Bitcoin dominance is on the rise, because why wouldn't it be on the rise? It's going to remain on the rise, in my opinion, until 64.3%. So it's still Bitcoin's world, okay? My overall conclusion is that Bitcoin's going to come down, touch 62.7. That's not that far away, guys. That's $1,500 away. This could happen in the next 10 minutes. Like, it's 2%. Did we see it in crypto all the time? It's not that serious, okay? My suspicion is that in the event that we do make our way fully down here, Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to rise as it's doing, and alts are going to bleed against Bitcoin. And then I believe wherever we bounce from, okay? I don't know where we're going to bounce from, whether it's 82.7, whether it's 80, whether it's 78, or whether we take the low again. Wherever we get the bounce from again, that's where I suspect that dominance, Bitcoin dominance, is going to roll over. And that's when you're going to get your, like, we'll call it mini alt season. I don't want to call it mini alt season, or because again, that implies cycles, and I believe that the cycles are broken. And it's actually not even my belief. Like, look at what's been happening. It hasn't been doing at all what the previous cycles have been doing. So that's what I think is going to happen, okay? So basically, just to summarize, USDT dominance, I'm looking for either this high, this high, this high, or this high, effectively, for a flip, potentially, if it's going to roll over here, which it makes sense to, and we are seeing our first signs of USDT dominance weakness. I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to continue on its rise during Bitcoin's dump, not pump, okay? Not pump, during the dump, which is what's happening right now, to attack 82.7 at the very minimum. When we sweep this, we're going to be paying attention to the altcoins. And then I think that, obviously Bitcoin's going to make its way down, and wherever it bounces from is probably going to be a better bet to long the altcoins. If everything that I've mentioned in this video, comes full circle. I want to remind you all that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just what I'm extrapolating, okay? Things change in real time all the time, so do not marry these ideas. But I do think that this is a possible scenario, and I wouldn't say likely, but I wouldn't say unlikely either. It's a very realistic, that's the best way to put it. It's a very realistic path for the entire crypto market right now. I am thinking that this quarter is going to be more bullish than the last. I mean, how could it not be? The last quarter has not really been performing well at all, but I don't say that in a form of hopium like, most of the channels on YouTube. I say that strictly out of objective technical analysis. My friends, happy Easter to you all. May the Lord bless you. If you like the content, please hit the like button. If you loved it, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell, and I will see you this week on YouTube Live.